A third straight rainy afternoon in Huntington, West Virginia, as we get set for Sunbelt Conference women's soccer between the visiting Troy Trojans and the host Marshall Thundering Herd. We welcome you to Hoops Family Field at Veterans Memorial Soccer Complex in Huntington. I'm Ryan Eppley alongside Bobby Iddings. Bobby, these are two sides that were picked low in the conference to begin with, but an opportunity early in the conference season to maybe get a little momentum.
Yeah, and I think you look, if you're these two clubs, you look at each other's teams and you look, hey, they were picked at this spot. We were picked at this spot. Towards the bottom, as you mentioned, you look at it as an opportunity to get 2 points. What you really want to do is set yourself up to be in that Sunbelt Conference tournament at the end of the year. That could really be an important match today between these two clubs.
And even midway through the season, the dynamics of these teams changing a little bit. Giselle Daniels making a big impact in a limited moment so far for Troy.
Yeah, talking with Stuart Gore a little bit, just if you kind of hear what he has to say about Giselle Daniels, said she's probably the best player on our team. She's a captain again this year after redshirting last year. She can do everything as a forward. She can score goals, get in behind defenses. She can beat people with the ball at her feet. She's going to be a big key cog to this Troy offensive attack. She's a player just in her third match today, but already through those first two matches, she's tied for fourth. She's taking the lead at fourth on the team in shots. So she's a player that Troy's going to want to get the ball to her feet.
The Trojans 4-3-2 on the season, 0-1-1 in the Sunbelt. Marshall 2-4-2 this season, 0-1-1 in Sunbelt play, coming off of a loss at Texas State in San Marcos, but Brooklyn McComas had the goal for the Herd in that match.
Yeah, Brooklyn McComas in that match against Texas State. Marshall falls behind early, but you look at what McComas is able to do. She came up from that left back position, made a run when Marshall had an opportunity. That's what Marshall loves to do, run its left and right backs up the flank to get opportunities. And she saw an opportunity and took a shot from just inside the 18 and just really beat the keeper in that match. It was a really productive moment for Marshall, really impressive run as well by McComas. Just gives her an opportunity to see her confidence continue to build.
And a little bit of a different look in the back line for Marshall today. Maria Chavez will not be in the starting lineup, but she's got some really good news this week.
Yeah, got named to the under-20 Portugal national team for the next match. She will take off after today to go represent her home country of Portugal. Just a freshman for Marshall. She's really been impactful along that back line. She's done a really good job for Marshall. You look at kind of the stat line. She's played in all 8 games, over 500 minutes. A really important piece for Coach Rafa Samois as he continues on in his head coaching tenure of this Marshall women's program.
She is not in the starting lineup this afternoon. It will be Marshall and Troy coming up in Sunbelt Conference women's soccer, and it's next here on ESPN+.
A moment. A lot can happen in a moment. It can be fast-paced or time can stand still. Up in the air, down in the trenches. High-tech, old school. High energy, low-key. Lend a hand. Learn to let go. Find your people and your purpose. We meet the moment. We are Marshall.
Jack Field.
Thundering Herd with their first lead of the afternoon. First time since 1997. Marshall's going dancing.
Who says that business isn't personal? That what we do should be separate from who we are? At Encova Insurance, we do things differently. Our agents partner with small businesses to get to the heart of what matters. Because we're in the peace of mind business, and we take that very personally with auto, home, and business insurance. At Encova, we're ready for what's next.
Ladies and gentlemen, the power of a word. The anticipation, the adrenaline, the hair on the back of their necks rising. The crowd, the score rising. Greatness rising, the sun rising. Sometimes a word is best left all by itself. The Sun Belt Conference, 14 universities, 10 states, rising.
A moment. A lot can happen in a moment. It can be fast-paced or time can stand still. Up in the air, down in the trenches. High-tech, old school. High energy, low-key. Lend a hand. Learn to let go. Find your people and your purpose. We meet the moment. We are Marshall.
We welcome you back to Huntington Match Day as Marshall and Troy get set to do battle in Sun Belt Conference women's soccer. Let's get a look at our starting lineup from Tri-State Ford Dealers. First for visiting Troy. The Trojans, as I mentioned, coming in with a record of 4-3-2, 0-1-1 in the Sun Belt. And the starting 11 for Troy. The keeper is Una Georgeson with midfielder Leah Karate, defender Amani Hamilton, Haley Phillips in the midfield, Grace DeShetler, defender Giselle Daniels, who we spotlighted in the pregame, getting the start, just her second career start. Danielle Travado in the midfield, Brooke Slater, Olivia Simpson, along with Gabrielle Chartier, who scored a goal against Marshall a year ago, and Mia Jackson round out the starting 11 for Stuart Gore's Troy Trojans. He is in his second season with Troy State. Checking out Marshall, goalkeeper Alexis Wogelmuth, back getting the start after she did not start in the match in San Marcos against Texas State. Keisha Ekstrom, Angel Fowler, Ami Kamori, Bailey Fisher, along with Louisa Travos, Ebony Lucky, Leah Mish, Brooklyn McComas, Madison Towns, and Elodie Metho make out the starting lineup for the Thundering Herd under head coach Rafa Samoys.
What's going to be interesting today for Marshall is just see where the Herd's mindset is at. It was a tough match against Texas State just a few days ago. That match on Thursday, of course, Marshall falls in that one to drop to that 2-4-2 record. But Marshall was significantly outshot in that match, 23-5. Where does Marshall go from there? It was a tough match. You come back home, you have an opportunity to rebound. Pretty good crowd on hand. Herdtoberfest today as part of a doubleheader with the Marshall men. Where's the mindset for this Marshall team? If you saw the first couple minutes of that match against Texas State, you say this is a very resilient team. Marshall falls behind 1-0 just 12 seconds into the match and then is able to get the goal from McComas. But then from there, Texas State gets 5 more. What does Marshall do today? It's really going to set itself up as it gets into Sun Belt Conference play, kind of the heart of Sun Belt Conference play as well.
Two teams looking for their first Sun Belt win. Troy lost 1-0 to Louisiana Monroe, tied Georgia State. Their first road match since September 12th. We expect a very competitive match this afternoon. Get a good look at Marshall first-year coach Rafa Samoys, and he's kind of rebuilding the culture of the soccer program at Marshall.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he wants to do. Obviously, he's had some injuries at the kind of the top of the formation that they've already suffered this year, and they've been able to rebound a little bit from that. But from here, you've got to build some positive momentum, and that's the big stretch now for Marshall with this match against Troy. Of course, Georgia Southern coming up next weekend. Some home matches are on the slate for Marshall. You got to build that momentum as you get throughout the conference schedule. As much as anything, kind of the confidence, kind of that positive result can be as much of a key cog in your success in soccer just as much as anything else.
Marshall conceded a goal 12 seconds into the match against Texas State. No fireworks that early thus far here today, but on the midfield, and we wait for both teams to kind of try to establish possession here.
And what you'll see if you aren't familiar with Marshall's game is these right backs, where you've got McComas today and Madison Towns on McComas near side, Towns on the far side. What you'll see is if Marshall can go on the attack, it'll take those two backs and sprint them forward to go on runs. For the most part, Ekstrom and Fowler both will play towards the back at all times. Where Marshall's susceptible is right here. If they can't put the passes together and you really press Marshall, you can get an opportunity.
Marshall trying to work the ball forward, and there's a turnover. Troy on the attack And now the Trojans will back it out. Marshall without Maria Chavez, who has started along that back line nearly every match this season. And she will be joining the under-20 Portugal national team for their next match.
Really cool kind of, I mean, that's just a feather in your cap if you're someone like Chavez.
And Marshall has a player down. That is Elodie Meto, who is down at midfield.
I think she got hit just right beside on that ball that went out along the near touchline. I think she caught a boot to just the inside of her shin guard. As what does she do? She sprays it. She sprays it with water. I love that.
Turns out we've been treating injuries wrong all the time.
Hey, injuries sometimes, right? I think I saw something the other day where it was a football game, I believe in North Carolina, where a high school athletic staff was treating cramps with just a quick mustard packet.
Oh.
And if you don't like mustard,
Ooh.
that just sounds awful. I happen to like mustard, so it doesn't sound as terrible to me.
I do not. That sounds like torture.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think a lot of people were saying. So, speaking of mustard, nice jersey from Wogelmuth.
Yeah, Wogelmuth with the yellow attire and goal for Marshall today. Junior from Lincolnton, North Carolina. Four-sport high school athlete, just a four-time state champ in tennis. She scored 21 points per game in basketball. She was the kicker for the football team her senior year. Somebody who was all-around athletic pedigree.
We've seen that athletic prowess at times this season, just from what she's been able to do. Obviously, she's in the top 10 for Marshall in shutouts as well in goal. So she's shown her prowess throughout her career in the green and white.
Troy down near goal, and now a collision as Wogelmuth comes out. Runs into Kaja Ekstrom, and both are slow to get up.
Yeah, that's a play really where Ekstrom is trying to shield off the attacker in Daniels, and also Wogelmuth has to come out and be aggressive. And really, there's a communication aspect that's there too. But I think at the same time, I think if you ask Ekstrom and Wogelmuth, I think they both do the same thing over again, even with the pain.
Yeah, I think the aggressive play to cut off the attacking Giselle Daniels. Wogelmuth will put it back into play.
You mentioned Wogelmuth was a kicker in high school. She's left-footed too, which that's just not often you see a left-footed kicker in the game of football.
Bailey Fisher up the far side into the box. Fisher left foot across to Lecky. Lecky turns, fires with the right foot, finds the net. It's a goal for Ebony Lecky. And Marshall on the board early, a 1-0 lead.
That's a really impressive run down that far left side. Bailey Fisher using the speed to create some open space. She crosses it in. Lecky, she could have just basically had a one-touch taking a shot. Too many defenders in the way. Instead, settles and just is able to just kind of find the spot that she wants and just rolls it right past. Smart play by Lecky.
Third goal of the season for the senior from Northern Ireland. Off the assist from Fisher, her third assist of the year. And a little less than 3 minutes into the match, Marshall with a 1-0 lead.
And you got to give credit to everybody on the Marshall side that time, including Ami Kamori in the middle, in the midfield. She had some open space and just played a really pretty ball down the far side. Just a nice succession of passes there for Marshall, and that's exactly what this offense is built on. If they can put together successful passes, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's when this team plays well.
And Marshall unable to control it along the back line, but is able to move it forward, and Madison Towns, and it goes off of her, or maybe a foul. We'll see. That'll be a throw-in. So it'll be a throw-in for Troy.
I think.
Or nope, I think he's going to be a free kick.
Yeah, they're going to rule a free kick. I thought initially our center official came in and was overruling the far side.
That was right. Yeah, and there you see the foul. So that easier to see on the replay there. So a free kick. It will be Danielle Travado. Left foot, sends it into the box, headed up. Wogelmuth plucks it out of the air.
And already, we're not even 5 minutes into this match. Troy's already going to have, it looks like, I think a substitution going to come on as soon as able to do so. And that tells you a little bit. Stuart Gore just not thrilled with the opening 5 minutes of this match. And he's immediately going to make changes.
Marshall will flip the field to the near side. As Ekstrom up ahead. Here's Meto. Komori. Komori in the center, looking forward to Lecky. Flag is up, offside.
Right there, you saw what we talked about earlier, too, as you see Brooklyn McComas running back to that right back position on your screen as she just went out of frame. But McComas that time made a run up the right side, gave Komori an option, gave the entire midfield an option for somebody on the near side flank, but that opened up the middle for Komori as well.
McComas had the goal against Texas State. An otherwise forgettable match for Marshall. But you look to build on the good things. Marshall has done so early on here with the 1-0 lead. Komori, nice play to get around Hamilton, and Hamilton called for the foul. So it'll be a free kick for Marshall.
Lonnie Hamilton, just a bump there. Just kind of, I think Komori had gotten around her, some impressive ball handling, and Hamilton essentially just had to kind of bump her a little bit in order to throw her off kilter.
Ekstrom. Addison Towns working with it, trying to turn downfield, but has it taken away. Now Troy will push down the far sideline. The ball tried to be played ahead for Daniels, but it ends up at the feet of Wolgamuth. Bobby, in terms of beginnings of the match, could not ask for a better start for Marshall. If you're Troy, just got to settle things down. It's a long match ahead.
Yeah, I think if you're Marshall looking at it, you're last in the conference in terms of goals. You needed a quick start, just that confidence. Again, we talked about it. You needed the confidence to get yourself going, and that's what Marshall's got right now after that early goal from Lecky.
Trojans trying to attack, but ball headed back and forth now. Marshall will control. Towns on the far side. Herb will play it back to Wolgamuth. Now Troy with it just outside the box. Here's an attack from the Trojans. Simpson takes it to the inline and ends up losing it, and it will be a goal kick for Marshall.
Terrific defense that time from Madison Towns, shielding Simpson away from the ball as they went towards the inline there, and that's just smart. Towns just got right in front of Simpson, was able to shield her, and just creates a goal kick for Marshall to reset its own offense.
Substitution for Troy as Tatum Tischler will check in. Mia Jackson out. Tischler, sophomore from Tampa, Florida, into the match.
You know, big shout out to Jack Byers with the Troy Sports Information Department. He sent us over some quotes from Stuart Gore involving each player, and Tatum Tischler was one that jumped out to me, and I'll just kind of tell you why. But here's what Stuart Gore had to say about Tatum Tischler. She's fast, one of the toughest girls on the team. Looks like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth, but she's actually quite tough. I'm not 100% sure what that means. I just found it hilarious, and I guess it describes her toughness.
Daniel's shot is knocked down by Ekstrom. Troy still will have it as Travado sent it back into the box, but right to Wolgamuth. Daniels had it on the right foot, had a shot, but Ekstrom able to put it straight back into the turf. I mentioned the rain here in Huntington. This is an artificial surface at Hoops Family Field. So it can still be a little bit slippery, but you don't have the inconsistency due to the rain. Got a good look at Luisa Travasos, and now Rafa Samois.
Yeah, I want to apologize to the Samois family. Apparently we've been pronouncing his name incorrectly, all season. So apologies goes out to them, to I believe his parents watch back in Brazil. So we do apologize to them. I guess his friends have been teasing him with the way I was saying his name earlier in the year. I'll have you know, that's how he told me to say it. He said it was the easiest way. But then I talked to his wife a couple matches ago, and she said, just do this. This is the way I do it. And that's where we're going to go, with Samois for the rest of the year.
A little whistle, and it will be a free kick for Troy. Just about 10 minutes in here in Huntington. Marshall with a 1-0 lead on an early goal from Ebony Leckie, off an assist from Bailey Fisher. Leckie with her team leading third goal of the season.
That's exactly what Rafa wanted to see out of her this season. He wanted to see her kind of as that leader at the top. He said, look, she's just like I was as a player, so it was important for me to land her. And he really wanted to get her in that goal-scoring position. And that's exactly what Marshall did early in this one. But again, it was the build. It was the build to Kamori in the middle. She had open space. Instead of dribbling into that open space, she played it to more open space to Fisher. And then Fisher just does what she does and created on that far side and was able to set up Leckie.
So far, it feels like Marshall has had that one attack, which ended in a goal. Troy has maybe had better possession, or I should say more possession, but it's really only been able to get into the attack one time, and that shot was deflected out. Now ball ahead toward Meto in a foot race, and Hamilton will boot it out of play, so throw in for Marshall.
A Rolls Royce is how Stuart Gore described Imani Hamilton. Nothing phases her. She's just really good on that back line. He's really excited about her potential as she continues down in Troy.
Throw in off of Travado, so another throw in for Marshall. Leckie just outside the box. Puts it up. Meto sends it into the middle, but no one there for Marshall. But now Townsend would come up and take it for the Herd. And there's a foul, a heavy foul against Olivia Simpson. It will be a free kick for Marshall.
Yeah, and if you're, again, you see Towns down on the far side, struggled with injury last year. They're going to stop the clock for a moment, but you see if you're recruited to play the left back or right back spot, as you see just tangled up that time where Simpson and Towns, if you're recruited to play that left back or right back spot, you're not just playing on that defensive back forward. You're going to make offensive runs forward, and you'll see that from both the Marshall men's program and women's program. It's just very, very similar styles, but you're not just going to play strictly on that back line. But at the same time, your work rate's got to be extremely high because you're going to be sprinting the full length of the field pretty much the entire match. And that's what you see from Towns. That's what you saw from McComas with her goal as well against Texas State.
Marshall not afraid to push forward from anywhere, but like you said, also fighting to get back, get away from counter. There's a ball in and kicked up and over the goal. Good look. I believe that was Fowler. We got a boot on it, but sent it up and over the net.
Yeah, again, Marshall getting opportunities. And that was a beautifully played ball, and just Fowler really not marked. No one picked her up as she came towards the top of that 6, and I think if you give her that 10 times, she's going to net it at least half the time.
This is an interesting alignment here as Georgeson gets ready to boot it on the goal kick. Everyone on the pitch is on the right side. And just
it's like an overload.
Normally you see the field's a bit more spread out.
If you want to compare it to kind of an American football, it's the swinging gate is really what it's like, where you take all the offensive linemen, put them out to the right or left.
They're from the center to the right and no one to the left.
Yeah, keep an eye on that.
Georgeson with a free kick from just beyond midfield, so she's up to take that. Georgeson sends it into the box. Tischler. And Tischler tried to make a move and just hit it too strong and over the end line. It will be a goal kick for the Herd. Tischler, sophomore from Tampa, Florida. These teams played a year ago in Troy, Alabama. Marshall won 2-1. Troy scored a goal 34 seconds into that match. Gabrielle Chartier, who is in the starting 11 today for the Trojans. But Marshall was able to come back and win. Bailey Fisher had a goal that gave Marshall the win, that goal coming early in the second half.
And again, these two teams picked towards the bottom of the Sun Belt Conference. This is something, you know, you can say you don't look at preseason rankings, and maybe a lot of teams don't, but if you look and see, hey, who's picked ahead of me, who's picked right around me, you're going to circle those opponents as opportunities just to improve your record and hope you can come up with a decision in those matches.
Well, with the turnover in rosters, as is the name of the game right now in college soccer, those preseason predictions don't necessarily mean a whole lot because a lot of times it's hard to gauge what anybody has.
And you look at a team like Marshall, only 3 seniors on the roster, period, which, you know, you'd like to say that that matters in this day and age, but it really doesn't because you never know what's going to happen. Just 1 senior, and of course, that's Ebony Leckie that's in the starting lineup. And Marshall just is going to continue to build. That's exactly what you'll see from Rafa Simoes as he goes along.
Beto called for the foul, so it will be a free kick for Troy. She got into the back of Travado. Danielle Travado has been very active in that midfield so far.
Look at it again. I think Travaso's there on the trail end of the play. It was a little bit frustrating. I think she thought Meto was going to be there from the very beginning. But you see Meto kind of crashing into the back of that player for Troy.
Brooks Slater takes the free kick, sends it into the box, headed down as still not clear. Ball dangerously in front of the box, but then cleared out. And Marshall has a player down.
And that's Travasos. Travasos is one of the captains for this team, one of the emotional leaders as well. And she's been in the midfield. She's played in 7 of Marshall's 8 matches this year, but it's not what you want to see. You don't want to see a player who is a key part of your team go down at any point.
Already shorthanded with Maria Chavez not in the lineup today, wearing a cast on her hand.
Not to mention Nicole Navarro, you lost a couple weeks ago. You lost Alyssa Harden at the top before the beginning of the season too. It's just a team right now that wasn't able to shake the injury bug in the preseason.
This has been a program that's been, unfortunately, bitten by the injury bug multiple years in a row now. And everybody has some injuries. That's part of the sport, but this feels like Marshall gets some bad breaks there.
Good ball handling by McComas that time. They'll give herself a little bit of space, but then good recovery on the defensive end too by Haley Phillips.
Travado will quickly throw it in forward. Daniels lays it off to Chartier, and he loses it over the goal line. Goal kick for Marshall.
And you got to kind of watch the build, and kind of thought a little bit more that Troy would work towards the wings. Just why do I say that? This is a team that averages almost 6 corner kicks a game. We haven't seen one yet for Troy, so that's one of the top 70 in the NCAA. But for the most part, they have been working towards the wings. They've been kind of building towards the middle right now, going against Marshall on the counterattack, which can be very productive.
Chartier scored 7 goals a year ago. That led the team. She has not found the net thus far this season.
Similar to Bailey Fisher, right? Was one of the leading goal scorers for Marshall, only 1 goal so far this season. Fisher, I think, teams are keying on her a lot more necessarily maybe than they did last year.
And we will have a card come out against Madison Towns for Marshall. That was a good ball ahead to Tischler. And Troy mounting an attack here. Towns gets the yellow card, first card of the match.
Yeah, I think Towns essentially that time just got beat and kind of had to get down there. You could see the water coming up off the pitch as well. Just where, again, I think you and I joked prior, right? We were in a drought. 4 days now of rain, right?
Yeah.
No drought anymore.
We are no longer considered in drought conditions. Enough rain in those 4 days.
It's raining now, matter of fact.
Travado, free kick, swings it into the box, headed out. Kamori has some space. Ahead to Metho, and now back to Towns.
You're going to see about 5 playing high, especially with Marshall with a 1-0 advantage. You're going to see 5 playing pretty high right now for Troy, just to try and do what it can to really press this Marshall back line and get behind it.
Daniels just outside the box, able to turn it with the right foot, sends it wide. She was trying to bend that to the back corner and ended up missing high.
Yeah, and that time, Daniels comes inside the 18. She had Tischler, I believe it was Tischler, right at the penalty kick spot. If she doesn't take a shot and just decides to cross that right to the center, that's an opportunity right there. Take a look again right here. You see Daniels, she turns, but coming in right there at the top, you can barely see it there on our screen, but right at the penalty kick spot, just inside the 18, she had 2 players as options. If she just crosses that in the middle, that's a really good opportunity for this Troy team.
Marshall trying to clear it out, but unable to do so. Travado will turn and try to get it down the left side. It did stay inbounds, but it's Marshall possession. Now the Herd will flip the field.
You know, just earlier, as I said, left foot is primarily what we see from Wolgemuth. That was a really impressive pass with the opposite foot that time, too, from her.
We're trying to play it ahead. There's Fowler able to deny the pass in, and then Troy kicks it over the goal line for a goal kick. Troy has, again, pressured. Not necessarily a lot of good looks at this point, but Marshall's really only attacked twice and 1 shot and found the net.
Yeah, I think we've seen that, right? I think they've pretty much controlled the middle third. Neither team has been in the attacking third predominantly.
Here's Daniels. Daniels has it poked away.
2 center backs for this Marshall team between Fowler and Ekstrom they're so clinical in the way they operate in the middle.
Crotty played it back.
They do not let you pass them, which is as key as anything else.
Ekstrom whiffs, but is cleared away by Fowler. And no whistle. Here goes Fisher. And she has it taken away.
Great job by Hamilton stepping in there. Neither team able to kind of build off the little bit of momentum that it had. Fisher had some fresh area in front of her. Hamilton on the other side, just too heavy of a touch. And Marshall sends it out to Leah Mish.
Looked like Fisher was about to try to kick it into gear to get downfield with possession, and Hamilton just took it away from her immediately. Trojans with possession and too much on the pass attempt from Simpson. Throw in for Marshall.
Just incredible effort is what we see from Bailey Fisher. She's played 650 minutes this year, and if you think that's over 80 minutes per game, and she does not come out of matches for Marshall very often. So the 1 times, by the way, that doing quick math on air and live action actually worked out for me.
There you go. Mish chips it over to McComas. Back to Mish. Mish back to Fowler. Sweep it forward ahead to Fisher. Fisher back to Towns as the rain starts to pick up again here in Huntington. And Beto able to keep it in play. Now, Herd keeps possession.
Just communication right there from Marshall, a little bit lacking. 2 players going after the same ball. And again, it sounds so silly, but like playing in the rain and playing in this can be so disorienting. You almost underestimate just how confusing it can make an entire match. But your thought process is on this stinks to play in this, and sometimes you lose the normal thought process you have during a match as well.
In terms of the surface, we mentioned the footing will be consistent. It might be a little bit slippery in places, but it will be consistent. As Marshall still trying to get possession. And now a ball sent in by Travato at the foot of Daniels, saved by Wohlgemuth. Sprawling to make the save was Wohlgemuth. Keeps Troy off the board.
And there's that communication that we kind of talk about from Marshall. You just got to see that communication be a little bit stronger along that back line, because it almost led to that goal. But a great ball across from Travato as well, just giving an opportunity for Daniels. But again, Wohlgemuth shows that athletic ability.
Point I was about to make before that Troy attack was that you can get some skips off the surface because of it being wet. Well, it might not act as normally it would.
In a men's game here Wednesday night, a slide tackle was about a 15-yard slip and slide ride that night.
He just kept on going.
Looked fun, not gonna lie.
Fisher on the far side. Tries a through ball. She hits the head referee with it, so that will stop play. Marshall will put it back into play at the point of disruption.
How often does a player want to do that and can't do it?
That was clearly no intent, but
No,
right
none.
in the back. And there goes the temporary spray where they put the ball down for free kicks. And everything back together. We're ready to play. Fowler up ahead for Lecky. Lecky tries to knock it down, has to run it down, and out of play. It will be a goal kick.
Tremendous defending on the back line there for Troy. Getting to that ball in time was Brooks Slater. Slater listed as a forward playing along that back line today. I believe that was Slater that time. Just a really, really nice play as she got back, retreated in defense, and was able to send it off of Lecky and out. And here's that same thing you can see, Ryan, where Troy are lining up all of its players, all 10 attacking players on the right side of the field, just right past that, or right around that midfield stripe. I'm not sure the why. It tells me a little bit, maybe the left foot is not to the advantage of the keeper, Georgeson, excuse me.
Just an interesting tactic. Marshall will get a corner kick.
Travasos that time, just a really good job with the ball in the corner, just trying to create a crossing opportunity, and instead sends it off, give Marshall an opportunity here. The last set piece we saw for Marshall, far side of the field, created an opportunity for a shot on goal for Fowler. So let's see what happens this time.
Sophia Sasson came on moments ago for Troy, freshman from Madison, Alabama. So Mish will take the corner kick. Swings it in. Looking for Lecky, but Troy able to get it out of danger and push it upfield. Now here's Sasson. Sasson on a one-player counterattack, 1v2, and it is taken away by the Herd.
Sophia Sasson, we talked about Stuart Gore. We had comments from Stuart Gore on every player. Apparently she's hardworking. Her dad is Samoan. Her mom was in the military, her dad. Mom is first generation German. So Sophia is tough as a coffin nail, according to Stuart Gore. I'm gonna love these throughout the day, by the way. Again, thanks to Jack Byers at the Troy Sports Information Department.
Marshall leading 1-0, under 20 minutes to go here in the opening half. A goal by Ebony Lecky, less than 3 minutes in. Now Wohlgemuth struggled with it for just a moment, but able to find Fowler. But now here comes Tischler with it. Tischler into the box, looking for space, right foot, cross. Sasson up, over, and wide of goal. It will be a goal kick for Marshall.
Again, Marshall just getting a little bit sloppy on the back end there. Just the passing inside the 18 nearly creates an opportunity. But at the same time, this Marshall back line, the two center backs, Angel Fowler, Kaisa Ekstrom, are right there involved in everything. And that's exactly what you need out of your two center backs. You need them to be engaged. You need them to try and keep you out of danger, and that's what they've done.
Marshall will put it into play. Fowler on the far side. Sends it forward. Fisher gets it to Towns. And then Troy takes it away. Fisher comes right back and tried to get it back, but is whistled for the foul. Free kick for Troy.
Yeah, a bunch of bodies on the ground far side. I figured it was just a matter of time before we saw a foul called on someone on that far side.
Both sides playing very aggressive on these 50-50 balls. Leah Karate tying the boot. Back ready to go. Karate Jr. from Tinley Park, Illinois. Free kick put in. Headed in the box. Troy has possession here. Travado backs it out of the box. Now turns, and Lacoma is able to deny the cross attempt, but it will be a corner kick for the Trojans.
McComas plays at such a high level for a freshman right there on that right back spot. We talked about the goal against Texas State. That time defending on the edge, sliding, knocking it away. That's just a really nice play for the freshman from Monroe, Ohio. Great timing.
Haley Phillips will send in the corner kick, and Lecky gets a head on it for Marshall. Troy on the opposite side. Chartier will send it off of the defender. Another corner kick for the Trojans.
Talked about this, right? Attacking the flanks, creating those corner kick opportunities for Troy. Now that's what we're starting to see.
This will be the second corner kick on this attack for Troy. Travado will take this one. Sends it in with the left foot, knocked down by Ekstrom. Tischler pops it up into the box, headed out. Beto able to win the race to the ball. Tries to get turned upfield, and there is the whistle. As we will see a card. It will be a yellow card that will be assessed to Brooke Slater. So each side now with a yellow card.
Yeah, I think that time looks as if Meto had a step on Slater. And just all of a sudden, Slater said, oh no, and just had to basically bring her down to prevent her from getting around. You see Rafa Samoys there in the frame calling immediately for the card, and that's exactly what you got. It's always impressive just looking across this Troy roster, the level of recruiting for Stuart Gore and his staff, Eric Masters, his assistant coach. 5 freshmen all starting for this Troy team. And again, it's such a game of ifs, but if you can keep that team together for the 4 years, which again is very difficult this day and age to do, this is a team that's just going to grow together and get better and better as it moves along for its time down at Troy.
Those are all, as you mentioned, all freshmen. They are barely 18 years old and playing here in the Sun Belt Conference. Bailey Fisher ahead for Marshall. Fisher, the Hurricane West Virginia native, finds Meto. Meto tries to cut it back and is cut off. Marshall wants it offside, and there is the flag. Meto wanted a foul.
Yeah, Meto is still down on the ground after that one. She tried to cross up her defender that time. And I think we just had to have a conversation with the official, but either way, you're going to have the training staff come on.
This is the second time that the training staff has had to be out for Alati Meto. You see why she was upset there.
Yeah, got stepped on. Just inadvertent. Olivia Simpson, though, did step on her. Looked like her left foot. Does she squirt the left foot too?
It was the right foot before. The first time she was hurt very early in the match.
I was going to say, one of the worst things ever, right, is wet shoes, wet socks, right? I don't know if you want to spray the shoe right now. They're already wet at this point.
As Meto will walk off under her own power. I presume she will remain in the match, just has to come off until the head referee, Kevin Finker, will let her back on.
Look at that Marshall staff. You see Alyssa Harden on the crutches there. She's also a captain for this team, tore her ACL in training in the preseason. And just, look, she's a senior. It was her last year of eligibility. it's really easy to just no longer come to a match, right? To not even be there. For Rafa Samoys has talked quite a bit about her. He said, hey, look, she is a player that I want her on my staff, what she has done in her playing career. He said, she's a leader. She leads by example. She leads by work rate. She's someone I want to be on our staff when she's done. And she's really kind of setting a prime example for herself for the way you need to operate on the sideline if you're not going to be in a match or if you're going to be out with injury.
Comas puts it back into play for Marshall. Under 15 to go first half. Hurd leading Troy 1-0. Towns. Kamori up the middle to Fisher. Fisher, right side, Meto tries to getting around the defender, is cut off by Simpson and out of play.
Yeah, great defense by Simpson there, but great job by Meto. She got around, but did Simpson a tremendous recovery and just was able to just slow down Meto just a little bit so she could get a little bit of help on the defensive third.
Simpson played more than 1,000 minutes on an NCAA tournament team for Mississippi State 2 years ago, so she has experience in big matches. Mish ahead to Fisher. Simpson, but it is cut off by Mish. Mish to Lecky. Lecky tried to find Kamori, but it was cut off.
I think what Lecky was looking there for, she was on the outside of the right foot. I think she wanted the touch to nutmeg the defender to Shetler that time.
Either way, good defending from the Shetler. Excellent defending, quite frankly, and it will be a throw in for Troy. Troy has 5 shots, 1 on goal. Marshall 2 shots, 1 on goal. It found goal. Another throw in upcoming for Troy. Maybe a corner kick, excuse me, for the Trojans. So Phillips will take the corner kick from the left of goal position. Sends it high in the middle of the box. Tischler off the rebound. As it deflected, still dangerously in the top of the box area for Marshall, but the Herd able to get possession. Now Wogelmuth will clear it out. Towns will boot that to 4th Avenue. Throw in for Troy. Shetler on the throw in. Fisher. Really looking for somewhere to go with it. Has nowhere to go with it. And now Troy comes out with it. Tischler into the center. And Sasson unable to get the clean shot off. But Troy still on the attack. Ball crossed by Travato. And it is high and over the inline. It will be a goal kick for Marshall.
Yeah, and again, good job on the far side. Two different aspects. Good job by Troy to box in Bailey Fisher on that far side and just not allow her to go anywhere. But at the same time, this Marshall back line continues to play really well, continues to just really close down the open spaces for Troy when it is on the attack. If you're Troy and you're looking at this match, you're down 1-0, sure. But at the same time, who went up 1-0 last year at home? That was Troy before Marshall came back and won that match. So this has been a very resilient bunch thus far for Troy. When you watch, they have continued to attack. They have not slowed down, and they have really pressed Marshall on this back line right now.
They went 6-10-2 a year ago. Right now, 4-3-2. So you play the schedule that's in front of you. Wogelmuth in trouble with it, able to get it out to Fowler. You play the schedule in front of you. For a team, again, that was picked that low in the league, you got to think got some confidence in the non-conference portion of the season. Kamori up ahead to Fisher. Fisher into the box. Fisher crosses, but no one there, and Georgeson will just fall on it.
And again, this is what Marshall does so well. This is what it did at Texas State. Kind of that counterattack. When it gets in open space, it connects 2, 3, 4 passes. That's exactly what Marshall wants. And you see just a little bit of a miss hit that time by Fisher. Wasn't able to quite hit it exactly how she wanted to. Kind of thwarts Marshall's opportunity there. Georgeson's going to the right, her right, every single time.
Oh, high boot there to the face, and that will stop play. And a yellow card will come out against Troy. Is that Phillips?
I believe so.
Yes. That is Mish who is down. Phillips flicked with the right foot up high and knew it immediately.
Yeah, the Marshall bench was asking to review it on VAR. I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Haley Phillips, freshman. Traveling all the way across the country from Sammamish, Washington. Joined the Troy program. Also a miss hit, but Marshall unable to collect to do anything with it. Towns. He's going to let it go over the sideline for a throw-in. Under 10 minutes to play here in the opening half. Marshall with a 1-0 lead. First of two here at Hoops Family Field today. Marshall's been in action following this one. Bobby Iddings, James Collier on the call for that one. Travalos. Head to Fisher. Marshall mounting an attack. Fisher to Towns. Towns up the left wing. Towns looking for the cross. It's over everyone and over the goal line. Goal kick for Troy. Georgeson will put it into play again. And see what the alignment is this time with the ball placement on the near side. I think everyone will come to the near side. That's exactly what will happen.
I speculated and I was wrong.
If you watch college football kickoffs, you'll see teams that are clearly cutting the field in half with their kickoff coverage team. That's very similar to what you're seeing with how Troy handles its goal kicks. Free kick here for the Trojans. Georgeson will come all the way up to take it near midfield. This time the field a little more spread out. Georgeson, the right boot, lifts it up, middle of the pitch. Chartier, headed up by Mish. Travalos out, but put back in by Simpson. Now Sasson, Tischler. Tischler has it taken away by Fisher and a foul on Tischler.
It's actually a smart play by Tatum Tischler, and we've seen that a couple times today from this Troy side. Just as soon as Marshall gets an advantage, just a real quick hook. Don't allow the attacking player to really get out there in the open, and it's a smart play. It's a play that's not more often than not going to draw a card. But just a really smart idea that time by Tatum Tischler, just not allow Fisher to get on the run out.
Tischler and Fisher doing battle there at the top of the box, but Fisher having to tie the boot.
Bailey Fisher, just an incredible high school player. 2019-2020 State Player of the Year in West Virginia, had 66 goals in a single season, did Bailey Fisher.
For those unfamiliar with the area, that is pronounced Hurricane High School, town of Hurricane. Spelled like hurricane, though. Marshall, as Mish will send it back to Wogelmuth. Sasson will apply some pressure. Ekstrom outside the box, back into Wogelmuth. Left side, Fowler. Fowler will just hold it. Now we'll send it up the left side. Lecky making a run. Lecky is onside. She will run it down in the left corner. Back to Fisher. Fisher back to Towns. Now to Fisher.
Marshall's so organized in its effort.
Fisher into the middle. Booted back out by Crotty. But Mish keeps it for the Herd. Towns on the far side. Back to Fowler. Fowler near the midfield stripe. Into the center of the pitch to Ekstrom. Ekstrom ahead to Lecky. And the ball played through, but no one home for Marshall. Lecky thought she was pushed to the back, but no call. And it will be a free kick as Georgetown was just able to control it.
And definitely some contact there into the back of Lecky. Not sure how much it affected her as much as she was trying to just gain the advantage from it. But nonetheless, no call.
Roddy up ahead. And a whistle and offside. Flag was up on the far side, so offside against Troy. Sasson mistiming the run. Fowler back to Mish. Mish up ahead for Beto. Beto onside. Just outside the box on the right. Fancy footwork. Cuts it back over with the left foot, but it is booted away by Chartier. Fowler, though, keeps it on the attack and will just send it in. And to Hopper, to Georgeson in goal.
Yeah, I think Meto that time, it looked like she was trying to cross towards the top of the 18. May have been better served to try and go top shelf that time. Maybe play it off of the crossbar, off of a post, or off of a deflection of some sort. But instead, she's trying to be unselfish that time. You can never be upset with that if you're Rafa Samoys and his coaching staff right now.
Georgeson, a low line drive kick, and it ends up scooting just over the head of everyone. Back to McComas, who will play it back to Wogelmuth. Travaos looking for Lecky, unable to find her, and ball rolls out of play. It will be a throw in for Troy. And Lecky and Mateau, who were there together, neither one able to play the ball.
Take a look there. Meto trying to just kind of shield a defender off from the ball. Was able to do so. Quick handball there from the Troy Trojans. But either way, Meto was able to shield her defender from the ball, which is what she wanted to accomplish. But then you got to catch back up to it, which was the harder part.
Extra wide to Fowler up the left side. 3.5 minutes to play in the opening half. Marshall with a 1-0 lead. Ball slowly headed toward the sideline, and it will be a throw in for Marshall. Misty rain in Huntington right now.
I always describe this rain as annoying.
Yes.
It's the rain that's not hard enough to really you can't tell on TV that it is that it's really coming down, but it's just annoying because it just continues to come down over and over, and you can feel it. But it's almost like, hey, if you're gonna rain, just downpour.
And it's one of those rains where you put the rain gear on and you sit there, and it doesn't really feel like you're getting rained on heavily, and then you look and you were drenched.
Speaking from people that lived through it yesterday.
Yeah. There's not a saying in Huntington, but there should be. It only rains on a hurricane day. That's what it feels like, at least to this point.
And again, we say that after 3 months, 90 days without rain?
Pretty much, yes. And severe drought conditions here. I mean, it was dangerous.
Ryan, I've mowed my grass once since I think the 4th of July.
Yeah. And at the same time, Marshall's had 2 home football games. It has rained both of them.
That's landscaping with Bobby and Ryan.
They were nearly a month apart. It's just been a challenge for everybody.
I think my lawnmower still works. I'm not sure.
You're going to be mowing in the mid-October this year. It's still low on your total number of cuts for the year. But long ball ahead toward Meto, and Simpson cut her off. and foul on Meto.
And that's, again, just a smart play by Simpson. And you could see a player like that transferred over from Mississippi State. Meto just trying to get position, but Simpson just shielding off. And she's not hooking, except for the very end. But at that point, Meto had already been called for the foul. She's not hooking the defender. She's not wrapping her arms around the defender. She's just simply getting good body position that time, was Olivia Simpson, to shield Meto from getting an opportunity.
Good box out. Excellent box out. Georgeson sends it up the near side of the field. Kamori ahead toward Lecky. Georgeson off her line, and Lecky was giving it, bearing down on the ball there, but Georgeson able to collect it just in time. Georgeson from Stavanger, Norway. Out of play, 30 seconds to go in the half. Throw in for Marshall. Time for one last attack. Marshall in no hurry to put this ball in play. 15 seconds to go in the half.
10,
McComas will throw it in.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Ball cleared out. No danger to anyone here. And that is how the first half will come to a close. A goal from Ebony Lecky. Just under 3 minutes into play gives Marshall a 1-0 lead over Troy as we head to halftime. As what we expected to be a very competitive back and forth type match has lived up to that billing thus far here in rainy Huntington. We'll be back with halftime in just a moment. Marshall with a 1-0 lead over Troy here on ESPN Plus.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, so I saved hundreds. With the money I saved, I thought I'd get a wax figure of myself. Cool, right? Look at the craftsmanship. I mean, I even got my nostrils right. It's just nice to know, years after I'm gone, this guy will be standing the test of time. He's melting. Oh, geez. No. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I'm Jordan Heidema, and soccer is just one part of my story. Jordan outside of soccer is a little bit different than Jordan in soccer. I have moments where I can be silly, I have moments where I can be serious, and you definitely get a sneak peek into who I am with what I wear. Off field, I mean, like street style, baggy stuff. I don't think there's like a gender in clothes. Whatever you feel confident in, go rock it. TJ Maxx. Maxx what makes you, you.
Your yard is your sanctuary, where you should feel free.
I know.
Was talking about the dogs. They need their lawn back fast. And you need Scott's Turf Builder Rapid Grass. It's a revolutionary mix of seed and fertilizer that grows grass 2 times faster than just seed alone. Giving you a stronger lawn. Release the hounds. Smell that freedom, eh?
I smell it.
I'm still talking to the dogs. Download the MyLawn app today for lawn care tips and customized plans. Feed the lawn. Feed it.
You can run. You can scream. You can hide. But the chance to win could find you. The countdown is on to the biggest, spookiest day of the year. Get your West Virginia Lottery scratch-offs today for the chance to win. Escapes.
Please play responsibly.
I feel like we're living in a movie. Love you guys.
Formula One is go. Oh, it's contact. Formula One at its absolute finest. Oh my Lord, Max. This is Formula One.
One 1-0, Marshall leads Troy at halftime here in women's soccer on a rainy day in Huntington. And that rain, something that a lot of people are feeling throughout the Southeast, it's been a very difficult few days. You can help people affected by Hurricane Helene. Donate at redcross.org/ESPN. Again, that is redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover. Your donation enables the Red Cross to prepare for, respond to, and help people recover from this disaster, and will provide people and communities affected with food, water, emergency shelter, and relief supplies. Again, that is redcross.org/ESPN. Bobby, there are places that have had it a lot harder, a lot worse than we have had here in the tri-state area, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia. It's been bad enough here.
Yep.
There are still areas that haven't had electricity since Friday. And there are thousands of people in our area without electricity here, but this is a definite widespread issue.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at kind of our conference friends down at Georgia Southern, our conference friends at Appalachian State, just different kind of areas throughout this entire conference that have been affected negatively throughout this entire Hurricane Helene kind of aftermath. I mean, you talk, it was a Hurricane Helene when it makes landfall in Florida, but then the aftermath that it suffers in kind of the Asheville, the Boone, the Georgia area, Tennessee, Kentucky, Southern West Virginia, southwestern Virginia, just the multiple areas, how it's affected. And you just continue to see it. Again, if you can donate, please do so. It'd be very important, obviously very valuable to the people in those communities, because I think last I looked, Asheville, I believe, was still only accessible by air, right? Boone was completely, if you saw videos of that, that's a beautiful area. I've had the chance to go down there about 3 times in the last 5, 6, 7 years. Beautiful area. So if you're able to help, please help. It would be obviously big for those communities.
Looking around the SBC, Sunbelt Conference Women's Soccer scoreboard, you see Coastal Carolina at Georgia Southern postponed. That was because of the remnants of Hurricane Helene and the damage and the effects on Statesboro, Georgia, not too far off the coast there in eastern Georgia. Also today, later on, South Alabama and Georgia State just got underway in Atlanta. Texas State and Southern Miss just underway in Hattiesburg. And then later this evening, Louisiana is at Louisiana Monroe.
That's a big game.
Yes, yes.
It's a huge game. That's bragging rights for women's soccer in the Sun Belt ranks in the state of Louisiana. Obviously, Will Roberts, a former teammate of Rafa Simoes, too. That's a big game.
And Old Dominion and James Madison also tonight. James Madison's men were supposed to play at Georgia Southern. That match also can't postpone by the weather as well. Here in Huntington, drizzly rain and a Marshall lead. 1-0. Herd leads Troy after the early goal by Ebony Lucky. Back with more halftime here on ESPN Plus.
Okay, trainees, let's work on our fast and friendly claim service.
Eyes on the phone now.
Look alive, Drew.
Your repairs have been scheduled. Nice.
Yes, you'll get a rental car on site.
Heads up. Oh, I'm gonna turn this down to an 8. My bad.
We can do this all day. Geico claim service is 24/7. Nice catch.
Your claim has been approved. Your claim has been approved.
For savings and service, get more with Geico.
I'm Jordan Heidema, and soccer is just one part of my story. Jordan outside of soccer is a little bit different than Jordan in soccer. I have moments where I can be silly, I have moments where I can be serious, and you definitely get a sneak peek into who I am with what I wear. Off field, I mean, like street style, baggy stuff. I don't think there's like a gender in clothes. Whatever you feel confident in, go rock it. TJ Maxx. Maxx what makes you, you.
What if finding a new job wasn't such a leap of faith?
I don't think I'm right for this. I said I don't think I'm right for the job.
You're perfect for it! What if you knew you'd be paid fairly?
Check this out.
Because you could literally see what the job pays. What if your schedule worked for you, and her, and them? And what if the promise of better work
No way!
was something that found us?
I got the interview.
You can run. You can scream. You can hide. But the chance to win could find you. The countdown is on to the biggest, spookiest day of the year. Get your West Virginia Lottery scratch-offs today for the chance to win. Escapes. Please play responsibly.
I feel like we're living in a movie. Love you guys.
Formula One is go. Oh, it's contact. Formula One at its absolute finest. Oh my Lord, Max. This is Formula One.
A busy sports weekend in Huntington. Yesterday, Charles Huff and the Thundering Herd football team home against Mid-American Conference opponent Western Michigan. A.J. Turner continues to impress out of the backfield, and Stone Earl solidifying himself as the Thundering Herd QB1 as he hits Toby Payne, the Poca, West Virginia native, on an early touchdown pass that gave the Herd a 7-0 lead. Again, it was a rainy one in Huntington. Some Hardy fans sticking it out there throughout the course of the game. And Stone Earl also a beautiful catch here by Chester in the end zone. Able to pull it in. And
that's in the rain, by the way. That
Yes.
Carl Chester catch is in the rain. You talked about A.J. Turner earlier. He's second in the country in yards per carry. You look at the top 50 players in terms of gaining yardage. It's just been really impressive what he's been able to do in just a kind of minimal action, kind of on a timeshare, really, across the running back room for Marshall.
Western Michigan tied it at 20, but that touchdown pass from Earl to Christian Fitzpatrick, the difference as Marshall gets a 27-20 victory over Western Michigan. Herd now 2-2, heading into Sunbelt play next Saturday at home against Appalachian State. That game here on ESPN Plus at 3:30. Taking a look at the Sunbelt Conference women's soccer standings, App State and James Madison both 2-0 in league play. Old Dominion 1-0-1. Georgia Southern 1-1. Georgia State 0-0-2. Coastal Carolina and Marshall both 0-1-1 in the Sunbelt East. The Sunbelt West, South Alabama 1-0-1. Texas State 1-0-1. I mean, if you talk about parity within the league, just look at the Sunbelt West. You're talking about 2 matches in and only 2 teams that haven't lost, and everyone's been at least drawn.
You've got 10 teams right there that have at least a 500 record across this entire conference, which is the parity you're talking about. You look at this kind of the ability of this conference. It's going to be really nice to see as this season moves along who continues to put their head above the other teams. That gives itself an opportunity to get to that Sunbelt Conference tournament where then anything can happen.
At Marshall, upcoming games with Georgia Southern and at Southern Miss. So the Thundering Herd trying to get a win here today against Troy. The Herd and Trojans. Marshall with a 1-0 lead at the break. We'll be back with the second half of play. Also some stats in just a moment here on ESPN Plus.
All right, let's run that again.
Geico has fast fair claims 24/7 right on the Geico app.
To file a claim, just tap.
Just tap right here to upload pictures, customer.
Try getting on a first name basis.
Sure. Vicky.
To track your status, just click. Super easy.
They're connecting with the mannequins.
You're doing great, everyone.
Ooh, you're a pro.
Scroll, tap, scroll. Ouch! Oh, I'm cramping.
Yeah, we've all been there.
For savings and service, get more with Geico.
I overdid it. Like a showboat, I just overdid it.
My name is Madison Keys. This is my 15th year playing professional tennis, but I'm more than just a tennis player. Sometimes athletes get mislabeled because they see us at probably our most stressed out. It's really fun to be able to try to express yourself outside of the arena so people really get to see all aspects of who you are. No matter the look, TJ Maxx has exactly what I need to express myself. Maxx, what makes you, you.
The perfect day. Yeah, to put down some Scott's Turf Builder winter guard. It's perfect for giving the lawn a boost this fall. Think you mean perfect for repairing all the fun I have this summer? No, it's perfect for strengthening roots to help protect it all winter. More like perfect for giving the grass a deeper green come spring.
Sounds like it's perfect for your neighbor. Yeah. Who's going to take this back?
Wait, what?
And borrow your spreader. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. Enjoy it. I'm going back in this shed.
Download the MyLawn app today for lawn care tips and customized plans.
Feed it, lawn. Feed it.
You can run. You can scream. You can hide. But the chance to win could find you. The countdown is on to the biggest, spookiest day of the year. Get your West Virginia Lottery scratch-offs today for the chance to win escapes.
Please play responsibly.
It would be the best story, not only in tennis, but maybe in sports.
Raise your hand, Juliana.
I looked different. I played different. I was something that no one had ever seen before. Ever.
New DQ Fall Blizzard menu. Returning pumpkin pie and French silk pie. This lineup is the GOAT.
Taco?
No, like the greatest of all treats kind of GOAT.
Oh.
Hurry in before they're gone. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
A 1-0 Marshall lead, a physical first half, not just between the teams, but sometimes friendly fire as well, as Alexis Wolmuth and Kaisa Ekstrom for Marshall collided early on in this match. That was about 2 minutes in. Marshall immediately after that got its goal. Bailey Fisher finding Ebony Lucky, who was able to turn and put it in on the near post. As you see the pass, the assist from Fisher, the turn, and the solid strike and goal from Lucky. It gives Marshall 1-0 lead. And after that, it's been a lot of physical play.
Yeah, back and forth, multiple cards throughout this entire first half. Just both teams trying to possess for the most part. And the physicality has not really allowed either team to possess. Troy's had a lot of opportunities, and I think that backline's Troy's done a really good job. I talked about in the first half, just a little extra tug at times has created a card on a couple occasions. More often than not, it's just been that little extra tug that hasn't allowed Marshall to get out and run with it as much as Marshall wants to, and that's what's kind of limited the Marshall attack at times here in the first half too.
Yellow cards in the first half. For Marshall, Madison Towns has one. And 2 against Troy, 1 for Haley Phillips, 1 for Brooke Slater. Here are the first half stats. Troy has had the bulk of possession in this match. 6 shots, just 1 on goal. 4 fouls, 3 corners, 2 offsides. Marshall, 3 shots, 2 on goal, 1 into goal. 7 fouls against the Herd, 1 corner kick, 1 offside. And Bobby, what do those stats tell you through the first half?
It tells me Marshall took the advantage of its opportunity. Obviously, the Herd was able to get a couple really strong shots. I mean, really, you see those 3 shots. The one was the goal. There was another one where right on the doorstep was Angel Fowler, and you can argue probably should have put that one in the back of the net on a free kick set piece opportunity. But the other side for Troy, Troy's pressing this Marshall back line, just exactly what we saw from Texas State. Now, is it at the level of Texas State with success? No, not yet. That's Texas State team that netted 6 goals. But at the same time, Troy is putting pressure on this Marshall back. Ekstrom and Fowler, the 2 center backs for Marshall, didn't play a ton in that match against San Marcos on Thursday, but at the same time, they're kind of seeing the fresh legs that they have, and they've been able to thwart pretty much every Troy effort. I don't think we'd say there was a dangerous opportunity yet for Troy, but Troy is definitely putting pressure on that Marshall back.
I think the best chance Troy had for goal in the first half was Giselle Daniels was able to find some space, and as soon as she shot it off the right foot, Ekstrom was able to deflect it right back out of the box. Very good look at Rafa Samoys. 2-4-2 record at Marshall. Trying to get his first Sun Belt Conference victory here today.
I always love it. You know, if you look at the preseason rankings, and we've talked about it once before, but this is a team that was 13th out of 14 in the preseason. It had 1 first place vote. So I asked Rafa, I said, who'd that come from? Who do you think? Because I thought maybe, Will Roberts at ULM was his teammate when they were at the University of Charleston. He said, oh, that was me. It was Rafa. Rafa voted his team first. He said, I'll vote my team first every year.
And that is similar to the mentality of men's coach Chris Grassi. They're unapologetic about having confidence in their own teams.
You got to love that. I mean, if you're the team, if you are the club that he is coaching, why not?
Marshall off the goal kick as Towns back to Fowler. Fowler up the near side, actually in the middle to Kamori. Kamori will flip the field right side. There's Meto. Meto ahead for McComas on the overlapping run. She is cut off and it goes out of play, throw it for Troy.
Working that far side is going to be difficult, against Olivia Simpson. Just the high level she's used to playing. She's shown that at times today, just how successful she's been at multiple levels across college soccer, playing at Mississippi State, playing a lot of minutes on a very good team. and now also continuing to play at that level in the Sun Belt Conference too.
Fowler, near side, Towns, Madison Towns takes it into the attacking side for Marshall, up ahead to Fisher. Fisher has some space. Fisher into the box. Fisher, left foot cross. Ball is poked out, but a miss hit, and now Towns has it for Marshall. Towns now will head back into an attacking position. Down the left side, outside the box, crossed into the box, and Georgeson beats Fisher to the ball and able to cover it for Troy.
Yeah, I think this near side might be where Marshall wants to attack. That's where it got its goal in the first half. Obviously flip the sides, right? When Marshall was attacking to the near side as opposed to the far side in the first half. But that's where Marshall just now had a little bit of success. It's just that last touch, creating that opportunity, being dangerous, being daring around the 18-yard box. Marshall's going to have to cross it in, get some players in a good position inside that 18 to get an opportunity.
Crotty plays it up ahead, and it will go all the way to Wogelmuth at the top of the box. Wogelmuth was 4th in the conference in saves per match a year ago. More physical play as Vados with it to Fisher. Fisher will just dribble to the middle of the pitch. Plays it back to Ekstrom. McComas up the right side. Looking for Meto, and that ball is going to harmlessly roll over the end line, a goal kick for Troy.
You already see a little bit of some tactical changes for Marshall. I think Marshall tried to work it a lot towards the middle, worked it through Komori in the first 45. Right now, already in the second, they're really going to the edges at this point. They're kind of working it outside, really allowing those right back and left back, between McComas and Towns to get opportunities.
Georgeson will put it into play. I almost wonder if there's not something where you play the goal kick in this fashion multiple times and then maybe try to run somebody across that formation. Fisher with it for Marshall. For Komori. Heel kicks it back to Travasos. Tries to give it back to Komori. And McComas will settle it for Marshall on the far side.
Yeah, this first 5 minutes of the second half is really better just possession-wise than we saw Marshall probably throughout the entire first half. Herd's just doing a really good job of maintaining possession and really productive possession as well.
Simpson just heel kicks that one out of play. Throwing for Marshall. McComas gives it a go, looking for Fisher. Just missed, and it will be a goal kick for Troy.
Yeah, that's that daring opportunity for Marshall. Just put it in the box. Let's see what happens. If you can get Fisher's foot on that, the deflection that can create, where she's right on the doorstep, just really any touch on that doesn't result in hitting the keeper Georgeson is going to result in a goal.
Georgeson boot it. Toward middle of the pitch. Headed down by Fisher. Komori tries to run it down, but she is squared off by Crotty, and Troy will have a throw in.
It's really nice to see, to be completely honest, is again a Marshall team that has not been very productive offensively at times this year, towards the bottom of the conference in goal scoring. But at the same time, you get that early goal, you take the lead in the first 5 minutes, but Marshall hasn't stopped there. The Marshall hasn't played a low block or really dropped everybody back in order to stop Troy from scoring. No, Marshall's continued to attack.
It's felt like it's been played like a 0-0 match, even though Marshall has had the lead since a little less than 3 minutes in. McComas looking for Travasos, but it was just a bit out of her reach. Marshall retains possession. Ekstrom Trying to cross it over for Fisher, who was alone in the left side of the box, but it was cut off. Nice play by Travasos as she will move it forward. Now plays the deflection up to Fisher. Fisher can't turn on it as Phillips tries to clear it out. Fisher knocks it back down, but it's across the end line. And a goal kick for the Trojans.
Again, Marshall really pushing. This is not something we saw in the first half. The Herd pushing on that back line of Troy quite a bit. Now, some of that could be the fact that Troy has changed its tactics too to push more players forward, creating opportunities for Marshall. But at the same time, Marshall's taking advantage of everything right now and able to put together some possession that could potentially result in some offensive attack.
Marshall is yet to make a substitution in the match. Ekstrom will play it back to Wolgemuth. Daniels will apply a little bit of pressure there. It's Ekstrom over to Fowler. And off the toe of Phillips, throw in for Marshall. Morey tried to heel kick that ahead to Fisher, but that was cut off by Scarborough, who is in for Troy. There's a heel kick, and now play ahead to Lecky. Lecky, one-on-one. Ebony Lecky able to get past the defender. Lecky, as the defense catches up, it's off the head of a Trojan, out of play. It will be a corner kick for Marshall.
Again, Marshall creating opportunities here. Troy's definitely starting to play a little bit higher towards that offensive attacking area. And it's just allowing Marshall to get a little bit more opportunity here. And Lucky didn't have a great angle, and she didn't force anything either, which I think is key. She didn't force it. Instead, she plays it off of a Troy player and gives her team a chance to have a shot on goal here on a corner.
Able to get past Cheyenne Scarborough, who is in. Also in is Carlin Costell for Troy. Bish with the corner kick and wide of net as Beto was trying to find net there off of a ball about waist high and missed it wide. The Troy has made 4 substitutions throughout the match in terms of 4 players who did not start. Seeing time here today. Again, Marshall's yet to sub. Georgeson puts it into play. Beto. Travasos. Kamori. Travasos. Back to Kamori. Kamori has to back it out of the box. To Fisher. Fisher just outside the box. Phillips came in and defended, but Towns has it for Marshall. Now to Mitch.
Great defensive recovery there from Troy.
Towns. Wide to Fisher. Fisher. Stand on it, scratch her ear, and then give it back to Towns. Mitch to Kamori. Kamori. Able to get ahead of Scarborough and keep possession for Marshall.
The maintaining possession here for Marshall is really, really impressive. It hasn't really resulted in a threat quite yet, but just the continual possession it's maintaining is productive.
Good solid possession, good solid passing. Makes the defense move a lot. You'll notice the defense has to move a whole lot more than the attacking team and try to wear a team down a little bit that way sometimes. Mish will play it back to Fowler. Fowler to Towns on the near side. Towns up to Fisher. Fisher. All the way back across to Ekstrom and now wide to McComas. McComas. Ahead to Meto and out of play. It will be a throw in for Marshall. See the replay, and Simpson was able to send it out of play. Alecki pushed off the ball by Slater, and Alecki wins back possession, but is called for the foul.
Yeah, it's never the first, right? It's always the second. And Slater just a little shove that time. It was going to be play on. Lecky returned it, and Lecky gets the foul call. It legit. I think it was just the first one that frustrated the fans.
Georgeson will boot it forward. About a quarter of the way up the pitch. Off the head of Mish. McComas sends it into the air, and now at the feet of Fisher. They're looking for Komori up ahead. Played back by Scarborough. Georgeson boots it forward, but taken by Mish at midfield. Mish, right side to Meto. There is a collision, no call. Ball rolling and out of play. Throw in for Troy. Now the head referee will overrule the call, and it will be a throw in for Marshall.
Yeah, you can see that time Meto really and Simpson in a battle on that far side. Simpson, great defending, just stays in front of the man, stays in front of the defender, to be the attacking player, and is able to poke it away and just eliminate Meto's opportunity.
Throw into Komori in the box. Travasos, a bouncer to Fisher as it bounces out of the box to the near side, but Marshall still on the attack. Fisher tries to get through and cannot, but Towns has it for Marshall, and her attempt to cross knocked out of play.
Komori's creativity these last 10, 15 minutes really showing up. A couple back heels, flicks on, just being able to just really setting up her team for offensive opportunities.
Towns will throw it in. Marshall with a 1-0 lead, looking for more into the box. It's sent out, but Marshall does still retain possession. Leah Mish. Crossfield to McComas. Brooklyn McComas. Able to play up and over. McComas off the left foot of one hopper to Georgeson. Didn't get the pace she wanted on that one, but that was an incredible effort from McComas. You see, I think that goal last time out may have given her some confidence.
Yeah, you got to think so, especially the angle she shot it from. She kind of took her shot from that really difficult angle from the near side down at Texas State, and just was able, from the left side, I guess we'll call it, and she was able to give herself some confidence, as you mentioned. Now she takes a shot there. She's made some really nice runs from that right back spot so far today.
Daniels up ahead, right on the end line. It'll be a corner kick for Troy. So the Trojans quickly on this attack effort.
This has been what Troy has done all season. Gives itself an opportunity, sets itself up for corners as well.
Haley Phillips will take the corner kick. Right footer from the far side. She will bend it toward the middle of the pitch. Ball on the ground, up and knocked out. That ball looked headed for goal, but it was knocked out. Troy will stay on the attack. Scarborough, headed by Travasos, excuse me. Now the ball settles back. Still in a dangerous spot here for Marshall, as Daniels with it, trying to get free and unable to do so as Towns boots it out of play.
Yeah, great job that time by both Ekstrom and Fowler. Again, the two center backs for Marshall doing a tremendous job of clogging up the middle, not allowing that opportunity. Madison Towns, of course, coming in there to clean up that time as well.
That was excellent individual play from Daniels, trying to set herself up to get off a shot, but was denied. Now Daniels continues on the attack, and out of play. It'll be a throw in for Marshall.
It's going to be a battle here at the end to try and maintain that 1-0 lead. If you're Marshall, you're looking for a little bit of cushion. If you're Troy on the other side, You're going to press as many players forward as you tactically can to give yourself an opportunity.
.28.5 minutes to go. Marshall leading 1-0. Hurd will throw it in. Ravasos. Fowler up ahead toward Lecky, but cut off. See, that was Comus, not Fowler, a moment ago. But here it's Troy with the ball in the box. Daniels trying to settle it. Ekstrom able to get it away. Headed by Fisher, but Trojans remain on the attack. And the ball cleared out. Carlin Costell has been right in the middle of everything, right in her few moments on the pitch. There she's able to poke it back. And now DeShetler will lead the attack. There's Costell. Right side, Phillips. Phillips on the ground. Not much pace on that one into the box. And Mish steps in front for Marshall. Mish to Meto. Now Fisher to Lecky. Lecky back to Komori. Hurd will hold on to possession. Fowler sends it forward off the head of Slater. Now Phillips boots it forward for Daniels. Ball's down. Scarborough takes a shot. A two-hopper right to Wogelmuth.
And that's a great idea from Scarborough, right? You look at kind of is that Scarborough or Chartier? Excuse me. Chartier on the shot. That's a great idea from her. Just, you mentioned earlier, Ryan, just kind of the track that we're facing today with the skipping along the turf and everything like that we could see. It's a great idea just to see if you can gain an advantage just from taking the shot, see how the ball will bounce.
A foul, it will be a free kick for Marshall. Let's get another look at that last corner kick and that last scoring opportunity for Troy as Phillips sent it up into the box. Ball looked like it was almost on line for Wogelmuth there, but Ekstrom, I think, got a foot on it to get it out of play.
I think it volleyed off multiple bodies is what it looked like.
When I saw that in real time, I couldn't tell exactly what happened. Quite frankly, even on the replay, it looked
just a huddle of players.
Yeah, there was a crowd of players around goal there, but Marshall was able to clear it out. So Wogelmuth put it at her feet. Mish back to Wogelmuth. Near side, Fowler. Tried to play it up ahead of Towns, but DeShetler steps in front. And a strange hop there, and Komori comes away with it for Marshall. Komori running ahead. Left side to Fisher. Bailey Fisher. Into the middle to Komori. Komori with the shot, and goal! Ami Komori, first goal of the season. Second assist of the match from Bailey Fisher. And Marshall leads 2-0.
We talked earlier that Marshall wanted to try and play that near side flank. Exactly what we saw, just like last time. Fisher sets it up. She's patient. Komori, a perfect settle. Doesn't try and go one touch. Settles, almost gets the defense to run past her towards the far side. And Komori just nets it, slots it near side. And Marshall gets that little bit of cushion it wanted.
Georgeson was right in between, trying to play it out of the air and the hop, and kind of short hopped up and over her hands and into the near side of the net. The junior from Japan, Ami Komori, her first goal of the season.
Yeah, first time all season. Marshall scored 2 goals in a match as well, and it needed that second one just to give it a little bit of wiggle room.
Komori was a scorer at St. Bonaventure. We're transferring to Marshall and getting her first career goal with the Herd. She scored 9 goals in 33 matches, including a hat trick last year for St. Bonaventure. Here, Komori ahead of the attack again, down from behind. Stoppage in play, and a yellow card comes out.
I believe that's Hamilton, who had just come back on, gets the yellow that time. Komori had a little bit of a step too.
Komori has been right in the middle of everything. She's played very, very well this match. You touched on it earlier, before the goal even, about her ball handling creativity. And again, Ami Komori perhaps getting a little more comfortable after making the transfer and starting to see that.
Yeah, these 20 minutes of the second half have kind of been the Ami Komori show. And that's exactly what this Marshall team has wanted to see from that transfer. And just, you needed somebody to come in that midfield and to be the spark. And that's what she's been here in this second 45.
Mish with the free kick off the head of Fisher, and flag was up. Would have been offside. Georgeson collected it anyway, but a free kick. So we get a look here at the replay as Mish went high for Fisher, who made her run a little too early. That back line for Troy stayed up.
You know, what's been impressive, and we talked earlier, the free kick that we had in the first half that set up Angel Fowler for a goal-scoring opportunity, that free kick as well. Obviously, Fisher offside, but that's Leah Mish both times. And they've been really, really productive free kick opportunities from the freshman.
2-0 Marshall leads with 24 minutes to go. Goals from Ebony Lecky and Ami Komori. Still a lot of match to play. Fowler plays ahead. Meto. Meto wins the race to the ball, but is cut off. Now turns it. Meto has it poked away. Hands over her face as she knew she was close to having a prime scoring opportunity.
And you mentioned the 2 goals Marshall has scored, by the way. I think you have to also give hats off to Bailey Fisher. This is a player last year that came in, 7 goals last year, led the team at 5 game winners. But she's this year a little bit more of a key cog for other teams to pay attention to. The goal scoring is down, so what do you do when that happens? You set up your teammates. This game is a prime example. 2 assists already in this one. She's been the one that has kind of really realized the defense is pressuring, falling in on her, and that's going to create open opportunities for everybody else, and that's what happened there.
Fisher had the game-winning goal against Troy a year ago. So she has been a menace to the Trojans in 2 years. Marshall leading 2-0. Fowler plays it back to Mish. Back to Fowler. Ahead to Fisher. Phillips had it for a moment, but Fisher wins it back. Now Mish up ahead to Komori. Komori through ball is too strong. Looking for Meto, but it goes right to Georgeson, the goalkeeper.
And again, give a lot of credit to this Marshall 11 today. This 11 has stayed on the pitch the entire time. Marshall still without a single substitution in this match. The 11 that are out there have been going this entire match. It'll be interesting to see as this game comes towards the end. What do Rafa Samoys, Ross Holland, the rest of that coach staff, what do they decide? Do they want to go with the Iron 11 throughout the whole match, or do they make a couple substitutions here?
Haley Phillips on the near side for Troy. Trying to work against Madison Towns. Towns staying with her stride for stride. Ball into the middle of the box, and the Shetler sends that one all the way out of Hoops Family Field.
Yeah, just a bouncing ball that time, got a little bit too far under it, and that's going to happen sometimes. If you can't really settle and you can't really get a pretty good opportunity at it, you're not going to have a chance to really put the ball or the shot on frame, excuse me.
That ball was kind of dangerous in terms of how it was bouncing up toward the top of the box. Goal kick for Marshall. And that is a handball. That hit the elbow of McComas. So free kick for Troy, and it will be the keeper, Georgeson, from the offensive side of midfield. Headed up by Ekstrom at the top of the box. Ball put back in for Daniels. Flag is up. Giselle Daniels in an offside position when the ball was played forward. Free kick for Marshall.
You know, one thing I want to give a shout out real quick to kind of the athletic department of Marshall. One of the things we see a lot of is the community involvement, multiple youth teams that'll come to games here in Huntington and things like that. Today, as part of Hertoberfest, you had 2 youth teams that were in attendance, and it was really cool. So also a shout out to the Troy side. Oftentimes you'll see the Marshall players walking out with the players from these youth teams, On the other side today, Troy did the exact same thing. It's not often you see I don't think it's by choice necessarily, but it's not often you see a visiting team coming out with a youth program from a local school. But that's exactly what we saw today. Troy diving into that, growing the game.
Ball was crossed but cleared out by Ekstrom. Costell keeps it in the play. On the far side, Travado. Ball into the box toward Phillips. Headed down, and then Towns gets it out of the box to Lecky. Back up to Slater. Crowd, we kind of expect it to be a little bit light because of the weather early, but we also expect that crowd to grow with the men's game following this match. Rain has stopped in Huntington.
Stop talking about it.
It is dreary. Heard with a 2-0 lead now, 18:40 to go. Lecky at midfield, back to Meto.
You notice Troy playing so high, but at the same time, Marshall now dropping some more defenders back in the last 20 minutes just to really, I think both teams, Troy said, hey, we're going to attack. We're going to press everybody forward to attack. Marshall saying, hey, we're going to drop everybody back now to kind of thwart that attack. So it's going to make a counterattack for Marshall a little bit more difficult.
Wolgemuth sends it right side to McComas. McComas back to Ekstrom. Right side, McComas. Back to Ekstrom. Troy not yet into desperation play mode. They're not chasing the ball with extreme vigor, but now McComas will take it up the pitch. Lodi Meto, who loses her footing, taken down. And it will be a free kick for Marshall from just outside the box, right of goal.
And you'll see Marshall now take its time, as much time as it can.
See Meto and Simpson. They've been in a battle all day long. And Meto is down for a 3rd time. Training staff will have to go out to see Meto.
Yeah, kind of physical matches we talked about at the half. Take a look real quick too. You can get a look at the kids we talked about earlier, some local youth teams in attendance with the Troy Trojans. Again, hats off to Troy for just being part of that. Again, it's not by choice that visiting teams aren't a part of it, but it was just really cool to see kind of the growth of the game, seeing multiple children out there with both the Marshall side and the Troy side as well.
Good work by our crew back in the studio too.
I can still remember myself ball boying for games at kind of the local collegiate level when I was a child too. So it's really cool to see. Those are things you remember throughout your life as you get a look at Meto now getting to her feet.
As Meto will walk back off the pitch again. Marshall will make a substitution at the next possible moment. It will be Katie Porter, sophomore from Tampa.
You've got to think.
And she is on the pitch now. I believe she's just going to replace Meto straight up.
You got to think she and Tatum Tischler, both being from the Tampa area, are familiar with one another.
Porter was homeschooled, so it would have to be at the club level. But it would be interesting. These circles aren't, even with thousands of people involved, the circles are still small. They overlap a lot. And it's always interesting to me how familiar a lot of the players are from across the country when they're at schools that are hundreds of miles apart.
Leah Mish, she's been so successful today on some of these free kicks. Marshall with another chance here.
Troy's in an extremely defensive posture around the net, as the ball hasn't yet been put ready for play. They were resetting the clock to 17:02, and now here we go. Mish will chip it in, off the head of Fisher and into the goal. There she is again, Bailey Fisher. Gets her second goal of the season. She's piling up the points here today. Third goal for Marshall, and the Herd leads 3-0.
Yeah, Bailey Fisher making a run right now for Offensive Player of the Week throughout the Sun Belt as Marshall just continues to pour it on. This is the first time now. We mentioned first time all season that Marshall had 2 goals in a match. Well, this is the first time Marshall's had 3 goals in a match in just over a year. September 3rd last year against Gardner-Webb.
And Leah Mish, you talked about it. She's been putting the ball into play, and such quality ball off the free kick and the header from Fisher. As Troy unable to mount an organized attack. Kamori with it now for the Herd. 3 different goal scorers for Marshall.
You mentioned that defensive posture we saw from Troy. You were dead on. Pretty much all the Trojans were back as close to the goal line as you could be. And instead, what that allowed was it allowed on that cross, it allowed kind of the wider ranges of the edges. And that's exactly where Mish put it, was right towards the edge, just past the goal. And Fisher just right off her head, got a ton of pace behind it and was able to put it in.
There was no marking on that play. It was playing the, appeared to be playing the goal and not the player, but did not work out that particular time. Marshall will retain possession as McComas runs it down. Back to Ekstrom. Tried to go ahead to Lucky, but that play was broken up. Troy trying to mount an organized attack and just really unable to do so. Porter ahead to Kamori. Now Kamori will take it up the pitch. Ami Kamori. Saw Porter making a run, but decides to play it in the middle for Travasos. Now right side, Fisher. Fisher playing the right side now after the substitution, at least for the moment. And Porter playing the near side on the attack. Fisher can't keep it in. It will be a throw in for Troy. That was the first assist for Mish. Freshman from Germany. Troy will attack now. Here goes Daniels. This is 2-on-5. And Mish from behind, able to get the slide tackle cleanly and dispossess the player. Depossess, I should say.
Yeah, that was Giselle Daniels. 4 shots today. She's got just half of kind of the production there for this Troy team. And Marshall has slowed her down just a little bit. And I think we saw Daniels make a significant impact in the first 45. We haven't really seen as much of an impact from Daniels here in the second half.
Wogelmuth under pressure from Daniels, and there is a whistle. And Daniels got into Wogelmuth. And a foul called back in the box against Troy, against Daniels. So it will be a free kick for Wogelmuth.
And they're going to let Marshall play the advantage. When the advantage ended is when they brought the foul back.
So Fisher, when it comes to point accumulation, came into the match with 4, has 4 here today with a goal and 2 assists.
And I think if you'd ask Bailey Fisher, the only points that matter are 2. And she just wants to win.
Bird with a 3-0 lead, under 13 minutes to go. Georgeson up toward the left side and out of reach of everyone. A throw in for Marshall. And some substitutions coming on for the Thundering Herd as Riley McKinney comes in, as will Amelia Compston.
It's like Lecky and Mish come out, and Mish, just a really nice day. Obviously a really nice day for Lecky with the goal as well, and just productive day. And this is what you want to see. You know, it was a tough night, right? Really, really tough night the other day against Texas State for this Marshall side. You wanted to see this team come out, and you wanted to see it play well, and that's exactly what it's gotten, especially in the second 45. Marshall came out, and again, possession has been dominated by Marshall after that halftime break, and that's 100% what this athletic team wanted to see.
McKinney, who was a high school teammate of Brooklyn McComas, in for the Thundering Herd. Compston, sophomore from Charleston, West Virginia, went to Sissonville High School, is in as well. Transferred to Marshall from West Liberty University. Throw in for Troy. Near side, Fowler and Phillips. And Fowler able to box out Phillips and clear it out. Kamori ahead. Could not get away. And Troy retakes possession. The Shetler tries to cross. It's deflected by Towns. Now Phillips will cross it to the back line. Daniels and wide of net.
And again, Ekstrom right there, making it difficult on Daniels to have an opportunity. She's right there, shielding off Daniels to get a chance.
And substitution for Marshall. That is Fernanda Dantas, who is in. Dantas, freshman from Brazil, and for the first time. She is going to be a big part of the future of Marshall soccer, I do believe, in terms of defending and on the near side defensively. But here's a turnover in the box, and a shot is high and wide. That was off the foot of Kat Vasilunas, who just came in.
Yeah, between Chavez that we talked about earlier and Dantas, those two are going to be players for this Marshall back line. And if you're able to team them up with the 2 center backs you have with Ekstrom and Fowler, Madison Towns obviously still has eligibility next season for Marshall. That back line could be very dangerous next year for the Thundering Herd if all players decide to stay.
Fisher plays it ahead. It will be booted out of play. It will be a throw in for Marshall. Of course, coming up today, this is the first of 2 here at Hoops Family Field. Marshall men's soccer will be in action against Old Dominion, the 7th-ranked Thundering Herd, and the ODU Monarchs here at Hoops Family Field. 4:30 start here on ESPN Plus. And just a reminder for Herd fans who are out there watching, you will have to close this window out and find that game window. It is a separate. Under 10 to go. Herd leads Troy 3-0.
Of course, Chris Grassie's team getting a top 25 win a couple days ago against VCU. Getting the Sun Belt Conference win last week against South Carolina. Old Dominion today. And then top 25, potentially top 10, James Madison coming in next Friday. Could be a really fun weekend of Marshall sports. Could be top 10 James Madison. It's top 10 Marshall on Friday. Marshall and Appalachian State just really rekindling that Southern Conference rivalry next Saturday. I guess it's turned into a Sun Belt Conference rivalry now. And of course, the Marshall women in action next Sunday against Georgia Southern as well. So could be a really fun weekend next weekend, homecoming weekend here in Huntington.
Yeah, that's always a good time. It felt almost like homecoming yesterday with the Hall of Fame weekend. Had so many athletic alums who were back in, but looking forward to next week as well.
Yeah, you and I knew Shonda Stanton very, very well when she was the head coach at Marshall, and just, you know, I think our congratulations go out to her. Extremely successful, still successful at Indiana, but she was someone that was so gracious to us at our time when we were still in school at Marshall, and we obviously want to say our congratulations to Coach Stanton as well.
Yeah, head softball coach now at Indiana, but she was at Marshall for 18 years. 2 NCAA tournament appearances, the magical run through the Conference USA tournament in 2013, and then getting an at-large, having a top 25 team in 2017, a team that also had current Herd head coach Morgan Zerkel.
Of course, one of Shonda Stanton's players, Andy Williamson, now I believe Andy Sublett, goes into the Hall of Fame yesterday, was just, you talk about a pitcher who dominated at times, and that's exactly what Andy was able to do in her time at Marshall as well.
Carolina Falco in for the Thundering Herd, as is Rebecca Heath. 8.5, a little under 8.5 to go. Herd leading 3-0. Goals from Lecky, Komori, and Fisher. All three of whom are now out of the match. Up the far side, Ekstrom, Fowler. On the near side, Dantas.
The sun's almost trying to shine through, Ryan.
What is that orange orb in the sky? Of course, we saw it nonstop basically for 3 months, but we haven't seen it about a week now. As a foul, and it will be a free kick for Troy. Slater will take the free kick. Left foot into the box, headed up by Ekstrom. Still toward goal, and now a shot off the boot of Costell is high and out of play.
Barring anything unforeseen, potential third victory of the year for Marshall. Again, this is a team last year that had 7 wins. Prior to that, it hadn't achieved 5 wins since 2018. So just the continued build for Rafa Samois is what he's got to continue looking at.
Long ball ahead now is Katie Porter, one-on-one with the keeper, and right into Georgeson. Ball still bouncing loose. Georgeson makes what turns out to be a great save, but Herd still keeps the pressure on, and it will be a goal kick for Troy.
Porter had such a chance. It's almost there. She had a chance to chip the keeper if she wanted to, but I just think she kind of got back there and just sent a strike right at the keeper, Georgeson, but still a really productive chance again for Marshall. The confidence from a game like this and then the continued pressure you apply for 90 minutes can only carry over.
Georgeson will kick it deep. Off the head of Porter, played back to Ekstrom. She will boot it over the sideline on the near side. Throw in for Troy.
It's really interesting to see the development of Porter too. She played pretty much defensive midfield last year for this Marshall team. Now she's more kind of in that left mid role, where she's giving herself a chance, at taking shots and putting some balls on frame.
Ekstrom gets a yellow card.
Is it Ekstrom or was it Fowler?
I believe it might have been Fowler. Said Ekstrom, but I believe it was Fowler. Both were in the vicinity. We'll see if it was the contact or something else.
Yeah, that was Fowler for dissent.
There you go. Yeah, there the tug. Definitely saw it that time. The free kick, Slater with the left foot. will take a go at goal and sends it wide. Wohlgemuth, knowing her surroundings, knowing where the post was, knowing that ball was not destined for net, just lets it go.
Good job with the presence of mind that time by Wohlgemuth. Just lets it go. She can take some time, potentially 10, 15 seconds, 20 seconds off the clock. Just kind of push forward towards a hopeful victory for her and her side.
5 minutes to go. Herd leads 3-0. On the near side, Dantas. Rebecca Dantas ahead to Porter. Porter in the left corner. Trying to play it back up top, and we're able to run it down. Was Travados. Compston with the right boot up into the middle and headed out. It will be a corner kick for Marshall. Herd will make another substitution. Ava Hall will come in, senior from Scott Depot, Winfield High School. Excellent program.
Marshall's been blessed with multiple players, the Lawman sisters at times from Winfield High School as well.
Fierce rivalry with Charleston Catholic.
It's a lot of green.
Yeah. Katie Porter will take the corner kick. High into the box, and the ball bounding, chipped up and over goal.
Is that Riley McKinney, I believe, that got the shot? Marshall jerseys, very difficult to read. It's actually Brooklyn McComas again, excuse me.
Okay, yes. They are
white with a very, very narrow green or black outline.
We're doing our best. Daniels tries to split the defenders and cannot do so. As Marshall couldn't keep it in play, Compston did her best over there, but unable to do so, and it will be a throw in for Troy. Now with 3 minutes to go. Again at 4:30 here on ESPN Plus, 7th ranked Marshall men's soccer takes on Old Dominion. First home Sun Belt Conference match of the season for the Herd. There's just all kinds of physical play on that far side. None of it drawing a whistle. Herd will clear it out. McComas will chip it with the right foot out of play. It will be a throw in for Troy. Compston unable to control it, unable to settle it. So another throw in for Troy with 2 minutes to go. Ekstrom sends it wide on the near side to Dantas. Fernanda Dantas. Out of play off of the Shetler. Throw in for Marshall.
I think if you're watching film, this is a happy film game. If you are Rafa Samoys and his staff, this team in the second 45 specifically played very, very well. Not to discount the first half, but this last 45 minutes facing an attack, just basically being able to continue its own press against this Troy team. That's exactly what we've seen.
First half, we call Marshall advantageous, taking advantage of basically its one scoring opportunity to come away with the goal. Second half, Marshall has controlled the run of play. 1 minute to go, Herd leading 3-0. Marshall with 6 shots on goal, Troy with 3 That's despite Troy outshooting Marshall 13-9. Long ball up ahead. Thompson turns, cannot get around Simpson.
Just been a nice controlled effort by Marshall in this second 45. That's exactly what you want to see.
Marshall throw in with 15. And Marshall will just take its time. McComas will put it into play as we go down to 1, and that's the contest. Marshall gets the win. 3-0 over Troy. First Sun Belt Conference win for head coach Rafa Savoy. Goals from Ebony Lucky, Ami Kamori, and Bailey Fisher, giving Marshall a 3-0 lead. Herd now 3-4-2 on the year, 1-1-1 in Sun Belt play. Troy drops to 4-4-2 on the season. 0-2-1 in Sun Belt play. Bobby, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, a quick thought on for me basically is you see the resiliency of this team. You see the resilience that comes up from the fact that, hey, we got behind, against Texas State. We were able to get back even in that one, and then you end up losing. Okay, 6-1's the result of that one. What do you do in the next match out? You come out, you put 3 up on the board, and you're able to really, really kind of establish your culture, establish your pace of play in the second 45, and that's what allowed Marshall to get the second and third goals in this one. You saw some great individual efforts. Leah Mish, Bailey Fisher specifically, Ebony Lecky, Ami Kamori, just really, really sound. And of course, those two center backs for Marshall, Angel Fowler and Kai's Ekstrom, were really, really good and kind of slowing down this Troy attack as well.
One of the better all-around efforts of the season for Marshall as the Herd beats Troy 3-0. For everyone involved in our ESPN Plus broadcast, our crew back handling the production duties, our crew here at the stadium, our camera operators doing a great job today as always. And for Bobby Iddings, I'm Ryan Epling. Thanks for watching, everyone. Herd wins 3-0 over Troy.
World, the time has come to push the button. World, the time has come to push the button. World, the time has come to push the button.
Get this low mileage lease on this 2024 GMC Hummer EV pickup for around $849 per month. We are professional grade GMC.
My name is Madison Keys. This is my 15th year playing professional tennis, but I'm more than just a tennis player. Sometimes athletes get mislabeled because they see us at probably our most stressed out. It's really fun to be able to try to express yourself outside of the arena so people really get to see all aspects of who you are. No matter the look, TJ Maxx has exactly what I need to express myself. Max, what makes you, you.
Prime Big Deal Days is coming October 8th and 9th. With exclusive savings just for Prime members, you'll feel like a big deal. Shop deals on electronics, fashion, and more this Prime Big Deal Days, October 8th and 9th.
You can run. You can scream. You can hide. But the chance to win could find you. The countdown is on to the biggest, spookiest day of the year. Get your West Virginia Lottery scratch-offs today for the chance to win. Escapes.
Please play responsibly. Formula One at its absolute finest. This is Formula One.
Every week,
ESPN Plus brings you magic.
Lamine Yamal ignites the game.
World-class soccer all in one place. ESPN Plus, for the love of soccer. I'm on the next level now. It's so on.
right, let's run that again.
Geico has fast, fair claims 24/7 right on the Geico app.
To file a claim, just tap.
Just tap right here to upload pictures, customer.
Try getting on a first name basis.
Sure. Vicky.
To track your status, just click. Super easy.
They're connecting with the mannequins.
You're doing great, everyone.
Ooh, you're a pro.
Scroll, tap, scroll. Ouch! Oh, I'm cramping.
Yeah, we've all been there.
For savings and service, get more with Geico.
I overdid it. Like a showboat, I just overdid it.
Jordan outside of soccer is a little bit different than Jordan in soccer. You definitely get a sneak peek into who I am with what I wear. Whatever you feel confident in, go rock it. TJ Maxx. Maxx what makes you, you.
How do you sleep at night?
On a mattress from Mattress Firm. So I sleep.
It's the best sale of the year. Get a king for a queen price and save up to $700 on Sealy. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night.
What a wonderful atmosphere.
Nos ponemos las pilas, arranca el partido.
Live can't miss NFL games. An ESPN Plus exclusive Monday night matchup. Plus NFL primetime. You can't get anywhere else. And our exclusive expert analysis. ESPN Plus equals more football. Stream now.
With Car Gurus, you can buy or sell your car, in person or online. If only you could do things your way all the time. Wouldn't that be nice? Get it with Gurus.
You can run. You can scream. You can hide. But the chance to win could find you. The countdown is on to the biggest, spookiest day of the year. Get your West Virginia Lottery scratch-offs today for the chance to win. Escapes. Please play responsibly.
This season, ESPN Plus has hundreds of games across 20 conferences. That's more action, more touchdowns, more college football.
Yeah, that's how I get by.
Streaming now.
It would be the best story, not only in tennis, but maybe in sports.
I looked different. I played different. I was something that no one had ever seen before.
I'm on the next level now. It's so on.
And Alecki wins back possession, but is called for the foul.
Yeah, it's never the first, right? It's always
send it out of play. Alecki pushed off the ball by Slater, and Alecki wins back possession, but is called for the foul.
Yeah, it's never the first, right? It's always
right side to Meta. There is a collision. No call. Right side to Meta. There is a collision. No call. Brooklyn McComas able to play up and over. McComas off the left foot of one hopper to Georgeson. Right footer from the far side. She will bend it toward the middle of the pitch. Ball on the ground, up and knocked out. That ball looked headed for goal. Right footer from the far side. She will bend it toward the middle of the pitch. Ball on the ground, up and knocked out. That ball looked headed for goal. With the shot and goal! With the shot and goal! Kamori ahead of the attack again, down from behind.
He was wanted to see from that transfer, and just you needed somebody to come in that midfield and to be the spark, and that's what she's been here in this second 45.
Mish with the free kick off the head of Fisher, and flag was up.
He was wanted to see from that transfer, and just you needed somebody to come in that midfield and to be the spark, and that's what she's been here in this second 45.
Mish with the free kick off the head of Fisher, and flag was up. Trying to work against Madison Towns. Towns staying with her stride for stride. Ball into the middle of the box. Here we go. Mish will chip it in. Off the head of Fisher and into the goal. There she is again, Bailey Fisher. Mish will chip it in. Off the head of Fisher and into the goal. There she is again, Bailey Fisher. Mish will chip it in. Off the head of Fisher and into the goal. There she is again, Bailey Fisher. Troy will attack now. Here goes Daniels. This is 2-on-5. And Mish from behind, able to get the slide tackle cleanly. Troy will attack now. Here goes Daniels. This is 2-on-5. And Mish from behind, able to get the slide tackle cleanly. The Shetler tries to cross. It's deflected by Towns. Now Phillips will cross it to the back line. Daniels and wide of net.
And again, Ekstrom right there, making it difficult on Daniels to have an opportunity. She's right there. Sun's almost trying to shine through, Ryan.
What is that orange orb in the sky? Of course, we saw it nonstop basically for 3 months, but we haven't seen it in about a week now. As a foul, and it will be a free kick for Troy. Long ball ahead now is Katie Porter, one-on-one with the keeper, right into Georgeson. Ball still bouncing loose. Georgeson makes what turns out to be a great save, but her still keeps.
Now she's more kind of in that left midfield, left mid role, where she's giving herself a chance.
Yeah, there the